Yes, people, welcome to another Chelsea live stream. Got the main guys with me today for the first time in a long time. Myself, co-host Matt J. Bourne, co-owner of the channel, Mr. Carlito. Johnny Binnerals, how are you feeling today?
I'm in the bin. Feeling like I'm having an existential. Oh, wait, no, that's Johnny. Fuck, I'm not having an existential crisis at all. I feel vindicated like a dashboard confessional song. I was right the whole fucking time. We'll get into it, but I was right. There you go.
Straight to the point, people. There we have it. Big up Matt J. Bourne. It's been a while. How you been?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy to be back on. Happy to discuss plenty of deals being done. And happy to see people who don't want to be here leave the door.
Definitely. Matt, we're going to be hearing from you a lot today, but Carlito has limited time. So, Carlito, I want to put it all to you. We want to hear your thoughts from the beginning to the end and the outcome after all of this.
So I've seen this before at all levels, middle school, high school, college, semi-pro, everything. You'll just see these indicators about players that want to leave, but this was a public thing that involved 4 or 5 different journalists and a couple influencers as well. And I think it's something that has certainly ruined relationships in the past couple of weeks. But let's just start from it. 2 years ago, I had an inclination that Mason Mount is going to want to leave because we were in the process, even before this club was sold 18 months ago, we were in the process of trying to renew all of our young players. We had initially done it with Chalaba, and then we were in the process of doing it with Reece James. Ben Chilwell eventually got his deal done, but that was another one that we wanted to do as well that eventually did get done. It just seemed as though, we were destined to have everybody renew within a similar timeline, and Mason Mount just kept stalling. I was like, oh, shit, I think he wants to leave. And all of a sudden you start hearing all these things come out from the following journalists. Number 1, Matt Waugh. Number 2, Nizar Kinsella. Number 3, Simon Phillips, as well as influencers Alex Goldberg of the Byline and Nick Verlaney and Brandon Bisbee of the London is Blue podcast. All of them started talking about this Mason Mount contract within the last 2 years. And they all started saying Mason Mount wants to be captain. Mason Mount wants to be proper Chelsea for life. Mason Mount is a Cobham boy. Mason Mount wants to retire here. Okay? He wants a new deal. He wants the money. Great. Everyone at the time, as he was winning his second Player of the Year trophy, everyone at the time was like, yeah, that's no problem. And then it started being propagated that Chelsea was the one that was slowing things up. As things started going on with Andreas Christensen and Rudiger, who were in the last couple of months of their contract, they wanted to leave anyway. New lifestyle, new country. Got it. Okay, people are allowed to do that. I change club teams all the time. But okay, now all of a sudden you start hearing that Chelsea is the problem and that it's not Mason that's the one holding up the deal. It's Chelsea that's the problem, right? And this has really started to intensify at this time last year because everyone's saying Mason Mount has 2 years left on his deal and they need to get this done because they're getting it done for Reece. They're getting it done for Ben Chilwell. They just bought Wesley Fofana, blah, 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 right? All these guys are young. All these guys are going to be here a while. Mason Mount is crucial because, again, he had just won his second Player of the Year trophy. And so then it started getting intense. Goldberg, Matt Law, Simon Phillips, and Nizar Kinsella, London is Blue podcast. They all started saying, is Chelsea fucking this up? Is Chelsea fucking this up? Is Chelsea going to blow this? Is Chelsea going to lose the next Frank Lampard, right? Oh, my God, Chelsea's not giving him what he wants. Oh, my God, they're blowing this. Oh, my God, they're going to lose this player. Then it starts going on to Sky Sports, then BT, and then ESPN FC, right? And then it becomes on YouTube. We've even done segments on this. Okay, Lawrence has done stuff on this. Lewis and Chelsea Fan TV have done stuff on this. Thumbnail Face Harry has done stuff on this. Okay, this was the hottest story for the past 18 months, that Mason Mount needs a new deal. Mason Mount wants a new deal, okay? Mason Mount was offered a new deal before the World Cup, $200K. He declined. Mason Mount was offered a new deal after the World Cup, $200K. He declined. Mason Mount was offered a deal 18 months ago, February, before this club was sold. He declined. Same money. He declined. And yet the entire time, everybody has been saying, from the window to the wall, especially the people in his camp, that Chelsea is not offered and Chelsea wants to sell him. And that has proven to be categorically false. False, because Mason Mount was just is accepting the same offer that we gave to him multiple times. The offer that Nazar, Matt Law, Simon Phillips, London is Blue podcast, and Alex Goldberg said didn't exist. Yes, it fucking did. And I've come to this conclusion. And that is that Mason Mount and Tony Mount made a deal with these 3 journalists and those 2 publications online. Okay? In terms of, if you give me favorable PR, people call it PR, but really write articles about me and say I love the club, to say I want to stay at the club. Okay, write favorable stuff about me. In return, I will grant you access, because Mason Mount stories, sure, they have legs. They don't carry that much legs. They won't cover that much paper. All right. So in return, I believe, now this is conjecture, but I believe in return, Mason Mount gave them information about Chelsea. In return for them giving him favorable stories in the publications that they represent, I believe that Mason Mount granted them access to the club that they otherwise would definitely not have. And now that relationship is over, because the people that I just mentioned, all 5 of them, they all cover Chelsea. He's going to another club. I don't think he cares about those relationships. I don't think he cares if those bridges are burned, because he's going to a new club and he'll probably cozy up with his father to the same fucking people, or the same types of people that were previously at Chelsea. Mark Goldbridge probably included. Okay? That's how I feel. But at the end of the day, with all this tit for tat, with all this back scratching and dick sucking, what really went down is that Mason Mount wanted to leave. This was never about Chelsea not wanting to keep him, or not wanting him to offer a great contract, or not valuing him, or not thinking that he could be, the 8 or the attacking midfielder for the future, because Chelsea did. They kept offering him good terms. They said, dude, here's the deal. This is a really good deal. Mason Mount said, no, it's not enough. It's not enough. And yet he accepted the same fucking deal from Man United. And it comes to the same conclusion. The journalists were lying, or they were lied to. The YouTube podcasters were either lying or they were lied to. But at the end of the day, what was told was a lie. It was a flat-out fucking lie. Because Mason Mount never wanted to be here. He wanted to leave. And you know what? If he had just said, I'm looking for a new experience, I wouldn't have cared. And I don't, because I think he's an average player. I don't think he's a shit player, but he's an average player. But I wouldn't have had so much vitriol towards him if he's like, yeah, I'm just looking for a new opportunity. Okay, dude, we'll get $65 million for you. It's fine. Guy Havertz says, I want a new opportunity, $65 million. See you later, dude. Thanks for the money. Thanks for the cup. But he fucking lied. And not only did he lie, he has ruined some reputations in the process, because those people should not be trusted. Now, this is all led, but those people should not be trusted, because they took that bait. They took that disingenuous partnership with him to give him favorable coverage. In return, they would get access. Now, again, all alleged, but this is what I think went down. And because of it, their integrity has been compromised. So fuck them, and most certainly fuck Mason Mount. And if you don't accept it at this point, you never will. And you're just like a voter of a certain person in America. Okay? It's the same thing. It's all politics. It's all, if you've loved this guy, you'll always love this guy, and you'll never get it. But if you can actually accept reality and see what he's done, okay, then good on you. Because that dude has fooled a lot of people, and he's ruined the integrity of a lot of people that normally would have integrity if this didn't go down. That's how I feel.
Just before you leave us, I'm very surprised you didn't mention Minerals FC once.
I don't rate him. I think he's a buffoon. He's not a journalist. He's not a credible person. He is a shell of a person. So I don't fucking give a shit what he thinks or what he represents. He only represents himself, and himself is an idiot.
Well, there we have it, folks. Carlito, I think you've summed it up from beginning to end very well. But yeah, you won the war, my friend.
No! I said this since day one, and everybody slated me. Everybody said, you hate Mason Mount. You hate Mason Mount. No, I think he's a disease, and I think he's infected a lot of people's careers. And in the end, one little tweet from Pice that says, yeah, Chelsea's been offering him this deal the whole time, and he's accepted the same deal that Chelsea's offered at Man United. And it says the one thing that I believed the whole time, and I think what Matt Ball has also believed the whole time, not you, Sadiq, but what Matt Ball and I have believed this whole time, and that is that Mason Mount just doesn't want to be at Chelsea. And if he had just come out and says, I want to leave, Matt, I don't think you would have cared. I wouldn't have cared. Certainly, I don't think Jared would have cared either. They said, okay, we'll get good money for you. That's fine. But he fucking lied. And he tried to think that he would get away with it. He thought that we were stupid enough that he could pull one over on us. Well, I got one thing to say to you, Mason Mount. Fucking do one, you prick. See you later, fellas.
Take care, man. Take care. Well, guys, that was summed up very nicely by Carlito. We want to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments. What is your take on Mason Mount? Your honest opinion from beginning to end. What you've seen. Are you still waiting for a bit more information? Do you want to hear a bit of Mason Mount's side, his explanation maybe? There's always 2 sides, 3 sides to a story, like Feroz would say. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Like the video as well. It's 1 click. Big up Ibsy for the super chat. Big up Serena for the super chat. Big up everyone in the chat. Mel. We've got Hashim, Metal, who's trying to slit us today. Alfred and the gang tuning in. But please let us know your thoughts on Mason Mount. Ibsy, make sure you invite me to that Twitter space. I need 24 hours advance message on the timing. I need to make sure I commit to that time. It's as simple as that. I need to be committed to that time. So please let me know what time it is. But Matt J. Bull, it is your time, my friend. It's been a while since I've spoken to you. You've been very busy. You've been locked up near court, not for the wrong reasons, but doing your job basically. But give us your overall view on the situation.
Yeah, I mean, I'll first talk about Mason Mount separately, and then I'll talk about a certain fraud after. But we'll get into that after. I mean, the Mason Mount thing, I'm torn on it. I understand the anger from people, and I think people who have always been against him are feeling that joy, and will pile on that hate or whatever people want to call it. I'm in 2 minds. I've always had a suspicion that he's been wanting to leave, and he's not looked like he wants to stay, and seemingly that's proved to be right. But this is just teaching a lot of people that there is no loyalty in football. There is
Common boy.
No, I've never believed he's this whole proper. I'm glad that this whole proper Chelsea thing. I do not want to hear that saying one more time. There is no, and even people are going to put it on Reece James. I don't think Reece James would go about it in the wrong way. But if Chelsea are in the slumps, Reece ain't going to stay. Reece is going to do the better for his career, because at the end of the day, you do have to do what's right for you. Football's a short career. So I'm not so angry like people are. And I think you compared it in one of your videos, kind of like Courtois, Lukaku. For me, it's not like that, because he hasn't gone AWOL. He hasn't missed training. He hasn't done any interviews or anything like that.
Did he fake his injury?
I mean, there is no proof of whether he did or not, so I'm not going to put that accusation unless there is undeniable proof, personally. I mean, I'm not going to put that accusation on him until I see enough proof to be able to say that with chest without potentially getting legal or any other accusations thrown back at me. But my point is, he hasn't directly done anything snaky, over the top. He's just done what a usual footballer does and chases the money. And Money Mace is probably out of all the Mount fans, stands, all that, Money Mace was probably the exact right name for him, because all he cares about is the money. He doesn't, at the first chance to say goodbye to Chelsea, he's done it. And that's to his own. If he wants to do that and he doesn't want to be proper Chelsea or doesn't want to create a legacy here, fine. You've made your choice. You made your bed. You deal with it. I'm not going to be massively celebrating when he goes. I'm not going to be massively sad either. I'm just, the one thing I'm happy with is I think it destroys this notion of player stands, or at least should destroy player stands. Jorginho's, they're gone. Andres Christensen's, Lewis, and other people like that, they've all completely gone. And Mason Mount was the last one that was really there.
Havertz.
Yeah, Havertz had a few stats, but not as toxic. I mean, for me, for example, I've always, people would sometimes refer to me as Ruben Loftus-Cheek stan. My difference between when I stand on Loftus-Cheek or not is I in no way get violent. I do not get abusive. And when Loftus-Cheek does something wrong, I'll admit it. Like now, if Loftus-Cheek leaves, I'm not going to cry about it. If it's for the better of his career, fine. I don't go around saying Loftus-Cheek is proper Chelsea and all that. I don't have a go because Kovacic is playing in his position or whatever. If he plays, he plays. He doesn't, he doesn't. And he's one of my favourite players, but that's as far as it goes. But there is this obsession with certain people, with Mason Mount. Obviously, Carlito's named the names already, so I'm not going to go and rename these people just for the sake of them potentially clicking on and watching it. But there is this fascination with Mason Mount, almost unhealthy, and in some ways, you'd almost say borderline harassment with certain people. But that hopefully is severed, and hopefully, I'm hoping that is the end of it, predominantly at Chelsea Football Club. This toxicity can go, and really, I'm happy for them to just leave out the door as well. If you're not going to look and go club first, Chelsea first, we don't want you here. I don't care who you are. I don't care whether you're my best mate. I don't care whether you're a season ticket holder at Chelsea or you've never been to a game before. If you don't put the club first, bye. Go. Don't bother coming. Don't watch football. Football and Chelsea Football Club is not for you. Just go. Now, one thing that I am happy, and this is the one thing I will celebrate with this departure, is the fact that Johnny Minerals himself, has been absolutely muddied. That woods that Mizzy and everyone else has been stuck in, that forest is a forest fire. It's gone. The woods has burned down. Miz, Lewis, everyone, all the brown envelopes, the Fabrizio Romanos, they're all free. They're out the woods. It's gone. Johnny Minerals' woods is dead. It's gone. Johnny is just now becoming a child. Well, he was a child anyway, but he's becoming even more of a baby at the moment with his criminally just cringe reactions. It's getting boring at this point. And I would love to have a debate with him. Me and Carlito have opened it up many a times, even when he's openly said, who wants to debate me? Message me and we'll go radio silence. Doesn't want to debate, which is fine. Not bothered. I'd win anyway, but I'm not bothered at all. But I'm just glad that Johnny Minerals' absolute delusion and hateful content on American people, the American owners in particular, some very dodgy thumbnails, which if people actually looked into, are very dodgy and shouldn't be on YouTube at all, especially when kids watch his channel, which is his main target audience, whether he thinks that or not. And I hope that Johnny Minerals just leaves now. You can support Chelsea. I'm not going to say go support United because that's what other people's do. But just stop your channel. Stop this hateful content. We do not want a disease like you putting hate into this Chelsea Twitter space, into this Chelsea YouTube space. We want you gone. Your delusion is beyond all realms. I mean, you use the term, you're a long way from Starbucks to everyone. Mate, he's just so far away from Starbucks, he doesn't even know what fucking coffee is. He comes to Starbucks and he orders a beer because that's how deluded and far away he is from Starbucks. This guy needs to just take a break. If he wants to come back and actually do interesting, normal content like me, you, most other YouTubers, then fine. We'll come back in. We'll accept you. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has their times. But this absolute delusion Johnny's had is just beyond ridiculous. And I'm so glad that it's finally ended. And it will finally end. I hope he doesn't go on and do the same for people like Reece James, because that will bring more hate onto the players, because that's all Johnny does is he puts delusion into the Twitter space and creates more hate for that player. Which is unfortunate because I know that's not what he wants to do, but he's got to realise that he does that for himself, and he does his content and fair play. He gets views on his channel. Well done. You have your echo chamber. No one wants to debate you in it, but it's time to go. As Claude once said, it is time to go. Your time is done. Mason Mount leaves, and just go and be a Chelsea fan somewhere else. Thank you.
Well, there we have it, folks. Very, very well delivered by Mr. Matt J. Bull. I don't really say this, but I really want you guys to go and follow him on social media, on Twitter, Matt J. Bull 98. I'll be putting his profile out very shortly as well. We need to make sure we're supporting the team, of course. We want everyone to interact with us and hear our opinions. Matt, I think you summed up very, very well. Are you surprised with the way the news come out yesterday?
I think we were going to get more information about it. I thought it would happen after the deal was done, but I think this is a way, of maybe putting it out there to put Chelsea in a bit more pressure to lower the fee, and that's ultimately what it is doing. Whether that's a Mount team doing that, whether that is Manchester United trying to do that, I don't know what who has the aim of it, but it has damaged Chelsea's chances of getting any sort of 80 million, which I didn't think we were going to get anyway. I think it is going to be around the 60 million mark, but that is another thing that is frustrating about it, that it has been put out and probably put out by Mason Mount's crew, which is well done. We've effectively lost 20 million, thanks to Mineral Mount. But it is what it is. I thought we'd get it after, but we haven't. So there you go.
Fair enough. What do you make of this one when you tagged Fabrizio Romano? You liar. There's no offer from Chelsea to sign Toothpick Stanley. So here we go feeding the owners Mount agenda because they're desperate to cash in on the most valuable and profitable baller.
I just look at that and go, Johnny, you need to take your medication because you've been off your medication for too long. And it's going to get to a point where he's going to say the wrong thing. And one of these journalists are going to turn around and sue his ass. And if he does, when it happens, I do not have any sympathy.
What do you make of my response?
Well, that's the thing. This whole brown envelope myth, and I'm going to do a bit of Ben Jacobs here and myth bust a little bit. There is not really brown envelopes. There are journalists that are close to certain clubs and maybe will toe the line a little bit. That doesn't mean you're a brown envelope. It just means you are closer to other clubs. All happens. It can be whether you support that club, whether you don't. It can be you have more connections to the club, not necessarily money-wise, but it just might be more connections. You might have a better relationship with that club, so you want to put club information out a bit more. But with Johnny, and there is times where journalists will say stuff and you've got to go, no, that's a flat-out lie, that is PR sort of thing. But with Johnny, he so overuses the brown envelopes line. And to Johnny, all it is brown envelopes is anyone that doesn't agree with his opinion. Because he'll happily use Matt Law, Fabrizio Romano, when there's a positive news story about Mount or someone else that he really likes, or Kai Havertz. But as soon as it's negative, he'll then suddenly go back to calling them brown envelope. Well, they're not going to change. The brown envelope is a brown envelope, whether it's positive or negative news. So you've got to make up your own mind. Unfortunately, Johnny is just a walking contradiction. So this whole brown envelope phrase has just become massively overused now. I wouldn't say Johnny's a brown envelope. I'd just say he's deluded.
Yeah, I think I would echo that. The guys lost. I'm kind of glad that Mount and Havertz are both leaving. So I hope now, like you said, he sticks with the football club now in general and doesn't go too far with certain players. I've got a feeling he'll do it with Reece James next, but I really hope he doesn't. But there are actually brown envelopes in the community, which I can't get into full detail, but there's definitely people. Carlito spoke about at the start of the stream in terms of information being fed. We have other players in Chelsea squad that definitely gave information to other accounts. But this is why we need a whole revamp, people. We need all these players to leave. We just need everyone to go. And Carlito, I want to actually send a shot to you as well, because we've been saying, Mount, Ziyech, all these guys, and obviously Havertz was added into the list. He was a bit sad about that, but it happens. But he's tweeted today about Pulisic staying, and that really, really annoyed me. Matt, honestly, jokes aside, like if we talk about a rebuild and we're getting rid of all these players, we're getting rid of players that have been here for over 3 to 4 years. How can we include Pulisic?
Yeah, I mean, I would sell Pulisic if we can. Obviously, there might be the chance that he doesn't go because he can't get a suitor. Which in that case, if you can't get a suitor, we don't sell him in the window and he's still here, then there's no point of just not using him. I wouldn't if he's here and stuck here. We haven't got lots and lots of wingers at the moment because we've sold most of them. I wouldn't mind just you. I would agree with Carlito in the fact of I wouldn't mind using him fourth choice if he's just there and stuck here. But I would sell him as soon as possible and with whatever money we can. I mean, I said to Carlito straight under his thing, Dybala is there right now, 14 million release clause. That is nothing.
Is it only 14?
Apparently, what I saw and what Carlito has been saying for ages. So Carlito could be wrong, but even then, I don't think Dybala is going to be there for that much more. And I'd gladly have him in a team as a bit more of an experienced player, and to have as an option. Again, play multiple positions. Number 10 out wide means Nkuku can actually play these other positions rather than just playing number 10, if that's what Poch wants to do. I think that would be a good option without spending millions and millions and millions of pounds. But if Pulisic does stay, and I say fourth choice, he will be fourth choice. He will be, if there's injuries, he comes in. Not
so if he bangs in goals coming off the bench, and you're not going to be like, oh, he deserves to start.
Not if Sterling, Mudryk, and Madueke are playing really well. If he goes on a really good run of form, of course, there is a meritocracy at the end of the day. If you're playing really well, you can get yourself back in. And if he does, fantastic. We've got the old Christian Pulisic back, but I don't think that's going to happen. I'll be happy if it does because I really do like Christian Pulisic. I always have, but for me, he needs to go. He needs to go somewhere. I think the problem is his interest is coming from Italy, and Italy don't have any money. So
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I don't see him going anytime soon, unless it's a Saudi option.
Hey guys, it's me, Marco.
What the fuck?
Makeup is my life.
Sorry,
What
that was my
Matt? What are you watching?
No, it was I was watching Formula One Drive to Survive before this, and obviously it must have finished in the background, and it's just gone on to some other advert about a series. Fuck's sake.
Oh my days, you're funny. But talking about that, did you see what I'm to froze?
I'm just gonna show this. I'm just gonna mud for while I'm mudding other people right now. I'm just gonna mud Feroz. Feroz, you look like Alan from Hangover. There is Feroz right there in Hangover 2. That is the dead. I think we could say that is the deadest trim ever to be on WorldWideChels.
I actually agree with you there. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I can't believe he actually paid for that.
Yeah, the barber made him pay. That was
I would just walked off and just gone, well, fuck you.
Well, there we have it, folks. Metal called you the B word.
I haven't heard Batty Man for ages. That's quite funny. But yeah, I'm not a Batty Man, but I mean, Metalface Doom, just yeah.
You know who Metalface is, yeah?
I don't know who he is. I mean,
Patrick Bateman.
Is that old Patrick? He's
Patrick.
changed. He's got a second account.
Yeah, because he got banned on another account.
Oh yeah, Carlito banned him.
He's telling me to find him, but I can't find over 500 accounts. Remember, we used to block bots before. Do you remember when the bots used to come in and just
Oh,
spam?
yeah, all them
spam?
bots, yeah.
So I ain't got time to be searching, man.
I thought it sounded like Patrick a little bit.
Yeah, no one
But,
else
you
in the
know,
back.
we all know Patrick rims Johnny Minerals and wish he could have his baby. So that's about it.
There we have it, folks. Very, very simple. Look, Mason Mount. If you guys have me on Twitter, you'd have seen my video on Twitter. You'd have seen these kind of tweets, as you can see on the screen right now. They rejected Chelsea. But apparently, Matt, this deal could take until end of next week to get finalized.
I wouldn't be surprised because it's Man United. Man United don't do deals very quick at all. So
They're taking so long. They're taking so long about this deal.
I like to watch a lot of United Stand and Mark Goldbridge's content just because it is quite funny to watch United struggle, and it's good to see. And actually, I think it'd be good for some people who dislike Bowley to go and see actually what a terrible ownership is like, rather than our ownership. Man United don't do deals fast. They do, as Mark Goldbridge says, one deal every 4 to 6 weeks. And this deal isn't that difficult. It shouldn't be that difficult, but Man United will make it difficult for themselves. Obviously, they have got the ownership stuff, so that
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. How are they buying players if they go for the ownership stuff?
I don't know. I just think they'll look at this one. I think they'll look at this as just let's try and please and simmer the United fans down, and then not get anyone else for now. I think they'll go for that Haaland towards the end of the summer. Obviously, they've lost Kim and Jae already to Bayern Munich, so they'll have to go after someone else. But yeah, I mean, it's just United. But I mean, I'm not bothered. We've had a decent amount of deals done or about to be done. I'm glad Patrick's fine. I mean, all of them are starting to finally see. There was a guy that I like to debate with, the Score, on Twitter, and big up to him because he's actually been very humble today and actually coming out with some very good points. He's always been a Mount lover, and he's finally seen the light, which is good. I don't mind it if you see the light eventually.
Johnny hasn't accepted it.
No, he will go into his delusion. But I respect people when they can admit they're wrong. But for me, I love to be proven wrong. It's a thing I like. It's a thing I don't want to be right all the time. So I would like to be proven wrong, and it's quite refreshing when you can admit your own mistakes. So big up to Patrick for saying Mount can fuck off if he wants to leave. If he means it, yeah. But
Yeah.
I do think the over hate to Mount, as Patrick has rightly said, is I don't think it's needed. If he's leaving, he's leaving. It's just move on. We've got bigger and better things to talk about, like Nkuku and other players that we're going to sign. So I think it's just best to focus on that.
Well, there we have it, folks. If you guys can like the video, please. It is one click. It helps on the channel. We'll be doing a video stream every single day on this channel. So please do tune in. Even if you don't get notified, look on social media, search for this channel on YouTube, and you'll probably see something between 3 p.m. to about 11 p.m. every single day, UK time. So, Matt J. Ball, let's talk about Kai Havertz, another player you've been a bit, skeptical about. You wanted him out, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's lived off this 1/2 goals, if you want to count the Club World Cup. But he's lifted off 2 goals for his whole career, which fair enough. I will not debate the fact that he is a cult hero for what he did in the Champions League final. No one can take that away from him. And he will be remembered for that in a positive way, but he just hasn't been good enough. And I actually love the fact that Arsenal have paid £65 million for him, or euros or pounds, whatever it is. But we've got majority of our money back, especially since we've had him for 3 years. So if you talk about depreciations of contracts, we've made profit by I think Talk Sport and Simon Jordan said it's potentially at £37 million we've technically made FFP on Kai Havertz. So that's fantastic for a guy that has scored just 19 goals in 3 seasons, as someone that's supposed to be banging in lots of goals. But I'm happy he's going to Arsenal. My problem is I don't know where the hell he fits in at Arsenal because he doesn't.
Exactly his position.
But no, I mean, I think that will be to the detriment of Arsenal.
No, I really believe Arteta will get the best out of him. As much as he showed at Chelsea.
I think especially if they do not sign Declan Rice, they cannot play Havertz.
But imagine Rice, Odegaard, and Havertz.
Yes, but I don't think they're signing Rice. So,
well, we don't know that. But they've offered 90 million. They've offered 90 million, so they'll offer the money.
And even with Rice doesn't want to sit either. So how can you?
But when you change team, bro, it's different because Havertz isn't that number 8. But at Arsenal, I can see it happening. He will.
I've seen him. Arsenal will have a very good press from the midfield. I admit that they'll have a very good press from the midfield. But as soon as you bypass that press, there's going to be trouble. Yes, Zinchenko will come in and cover in the midfield, but then you've got the left back position will be open as it has been and as it's shown in the last parts of the season. I don't see, and to be honest, he's played number 8 here and it's not worked. He's played number 10 here, it's not worked. He's played wide, it's not worked, and he's played up front, it's not worked. My problem with Kai Havertz, and this is what he needs to figure out himself, not anyone else, is he needs to figure out himself what his position is, because it's all right being someone that can play multiple positions, but every player should know what their position is. And it frightens me. It always frightened me when Kai Havertz would come out and admit that himself he doesn't know what his position is. Because if you don't know what your position is, how are you supposed to improve on that position? How are you supposed to work in training to make yourself better if you don't know what position you are? And that's where young players who are potential, prospectus, and do well in much easier leagues with lots of space, that's how they get these big moves and just fall away because the development is not there. And the structure is not there. You've got to have structure to become the best. And unfortunately, I think that's where Kai will fail. I don't think he'll do well at Arsenal, especially if Declan Rice is not there, which I think hopefully Man City will come in, get him. We can hopefully get Caicedo done, and then Arsenal are completely in the mud.
I think Havertz suits the way Arsenal plays, in my opinion. And I'm a bit worried about this move because I think he will be a success at Arsenal Football Club. I really wanted him to join Madrid or Bayern. But the boy wants to stay in London. So I think he will surprise a lot of Chelsea fans.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, I'm not particularly worried. I mean, if he does well, fair enough. But I'm not particularly.
Yeah, but
worried.
you'll come out 3 years later saying, "Oh, that's the next Salah and De Bruyne mistake."
I mean, I'm a rarity that I come out and actually explain that there actually was situations where they probably did deserve to go at the time. I don't regret many players at all leaving the club because most of the time there is a genuine reason why they've left the club.
Are you worried about the amount of players leaving?
I would be if we had Champions League football.
Yeah, okay.
When we're playing one game, like people were saying with the midfield, if we have Enzo, Caicedo, and Cuckoo, and then after that it's not too that much depth there in terms of experience, I think that would be a problem if you were playing Champions League. But if you're playing once a week, it's not much of a problem. I do have a funny feeling that Blonde Mount will stay. Potentially.
Stay where?
Here,
Gallagher.
Chelsea. Yeah. One of Gallagher or Loftus-Cheek will stay. Just because I don't think they'll be able to get a move. And I think they will be that more experienced person that is back up. But I think we will have 2 midfielders coming in. So we'll have that as backup. And then whoever Gallagher or Loftus-Cheek, whoever stays, is going to be that 4th choice. Again, not playing that much, but just there. I mean, we'll see what happens. But I'm not worried about the players leaving because I think these players needed to leave. As long as we do get people in, which obviously we've got in Cuckoo, we've got Gusto coming in. So I think defence is done. We don't need to look at defence. Goalkeepers, it is what it is. If we have Keppra, I'm not going to cry about it.
Going with Keppra again for another season is a worry. It's a worry.
I'm not worried, particularly because I think we've got a very good defence. And if you've got a very good defence, you can minimise, therefore, how many mistakes a goalkeeper can physically make. If it is a situation where to get the top striker, to get the top midfielder, and potentially some depth in them roles as well, and you say we can't get a goalkeeper till next summer, it's a compromise I don't want to have to make. But if I have to make it, I'm not. That's the choice I'm going to make. I mean, it's true. We'll never win anything with Keppra in goal, but I don't expect us to win anything next season. If people think we're going to go and win the league, next season, then you're just chatting shit.
I'm not though.
We will hopefully get into Champions League football, and I think Keppra is at least good enough to do that. But we'll see. I mean, the problem is, I don't think we have the money to spend on a big goalkeeper. I don't want to go for a goalkeeper that is going to be someone we get rid of in 2 years as well. We need to get this role right. I don't want to go for a David Raya that looks good on paper. Looks good he looks good in person, but on paper, when you look at the metrics, there are some shaky things about it.
It's same as Keppra, long shots.
Yeah, I mean, Lucas just said about Diogo Costa. I like him, but every time I watch him, I can see a mistake in him. And when you're at a top club under big pressure, then mistakes can get worse and worse and worse. I mean, I've always said Keylor Navas is the guy out there, the cheap option. If we need to keep him as first choice for a season, again, I would happily take that because I think he's a good goalkeeper. Again, not going to win us a league, but he'll do. I'd be happy if it was a thing of we wait for one season and then we go and get our first choice next season. So say if Anana doesn't leave, you get Anana next summer, or you go for Diogo Costa next summer, or no doubt there'll be someone else that pops out of the scene for us to get. But I don't want to spend him £80 million on a goalkeeper. I don't think we need to do that.
Just quickly, comments like this scare me from KJ.
No, but let's be honest. Keppra last season made a few mistakes here and there, and he's always going to make mistakes. But it wasn't a bad season from Keppra.
Yeah, but this is my worry. We see a bit of decent form, and we're like, you know what?
But this is the thing.
See, look at this. Look.
All right, Mel's chatting a bit shit for the first time today. But my point is the majority of Chelsea fans, majority of Chelsea fans are not looking at this of if he does well, we'll keep him in the team. Most people are united in the fact that they want Keppra to leave eventually. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we've got Selena that is in the background that's going to keep improving, develop eventually, potentially to come in the year's time. But Keppra will leave. But the problem is you've also got to put into the fact that Keppra is not easy to get rid of because he's on big wages. And I think he's happy to stay. So you've got to keep the squad happy as well to an extent. And if that means Keppra plays until we get a goalkeeper, then it is what it is. But if in the perfect world, I'd get a goalkeeper, a striker, and a top class midfielder. But I don't think I just don't think it's going to be available in the market. And it is what it is. Sometimes you can't do everything in one summer.
Yeah, but realistically, how much would you spend on a goalkeeper? Realistically,
I don't want to spend much more than 45.
Okay, so listen to this. How much you sell Mendy for?
I don't know how much we sold. It was 18, something like that.
So you would sell it for similar, no?
Yeah.
So then he can go for Onana.
Well, but it's been questioned that Onana's going to be off. He's been they're asking for more.
Yeah, they're asking for more, obviously, but when the conversation comes about Chalobah on loan and Lukaku again and stuff, something
Don't
can
get
be
me
done.
wrong. If we can get Onana 45 million, then we should go for it. But I just think that there are aspects in terms of depends on who we get as a strike. If we go for Osimhen, that's a lot of money we're going to have to pay for Osimhen. If we go for Caicedo, that's going to be 80 million plus add-ons. If we go for a Lavia or an Onana, that's going to be another 40, 45 million. I think that puts us to our limit. I do not want De Gea. Hold on. No way. De Gea is someone you do not go anywhere near. Do not.
Why? He's
De
world
Gea
class
is
in his day.
completely past it.
He's been in
He is
Keppra.
I mean, there's a reason Spain ain't doing, apart from the Nations League, they don't do very well. It's because they've got shite goalkeepers.
Keppra.
I mean, the fact that Keppra is number one for Spain is horrifying.
There you go. See, that's why I'm worried.
No, but that's what I mean. I'm not saying. At no point have I said I want to keep Keppra forever. But I'm happy to make a compromise if it means we get an Osimhen or Harry Kane, if it means we get a Caicedo, if it means we get a backup for the midfield as well. I'd be happy to just take that little bit of pain for one more season. But next season, then there is no excuses.
Because the amount of sales we're making, bro, we can afford to sign a goalkeeper.
We'll see. We'll see what money's available, but I don't.
Bro, I can name you 300 million right now.
Yes, but don't forget you are putting that back on what we've already spent already.
What have we spent?
Well, no, I mean in terms of the last season, we're still making that money back as well. But and the fact that we are having reduced sponsorship and prize money and all that jazz.
Bro, I need to speak to you about stake as well. You're telling me 20 million difference is why we should go for stake.
I am saying that we shouldn't completely ridiculously lower our negotiating rate. Bearing in mind, if you look at other Premier League teams, that would probably put us by far one of the lowest sponsorship deals in the Prem. And that is ridiculous. I understand the points people make in terms of, obviously, religion. I mean, I'm not a religious person, so I can't really comment on that sort of thing. But I can understand the sensitivities around it. Likewise with people who gamble and have a gambling addiction. Again, I completely get the sensitivities around that. But there is just so much hypocrisy around the debate. I have had my arguments with people on social media about.
I would like to debate you on it as well.
I mean, no, I'm happy to have a nice, calm debate on it.
Let's have it right. Let's have a nice, calm debate. Yeah. I just want to say one thing very quickly before we do get into that. Make sure you guys smash that like button. I don't think me and Matt have had a actual debate like this. It might get a bit heated, but it's all love. No. But one thing I do want to say is the ones we got for about 20 million. I am 100% sure there can be a conversation held to say if Chelsea make the Champions League next season, which is top 5, not 4th, talks can reopen and we get a better deal.
My counter to that would be, how do you know that's not already been done? And the Allianz said no.
We would have got information about it immediately. I
mean, yeah, that's the thing. I don't mind potentially doing that. If that has not been done, I think that should have been in the negotiations.
That's my proposal. That's my proposal.
But don't forget, there are some things in negotiations, especially business sponsorship wise, that won't come out because legally they won't want you to put it out.
Yeah, true.
But the thing is, there is so much hypocrisy around it. I mean, I know we've had this discussion, me and you, and you are against stuff like Paramatch as well. But when I say this, I'm talking in terms of the general fan base, because the general fan base is a little bit idiotic with this fact. the fact that everyone's going on at Bowley for taking stake, which I do think is, while it is not great to have a bad gambling sponsor, it is a gambling sponsor that the UK people can't use. So in a way, for UK people at least, it mitigates that argument of the gambling problem because UK users can't even use the app. But I understand we are an international fan base, so that does affect other areas. But the fact that everyone's been going on the Bowley, and it was all tipped onto Bowley because it's typical American owners, blah, 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 don't care about the club, no soul and all that. But Paramatch it literally says the betting sponsor of Chelsea on it, and it is plastered all over the socials, every social media, every match lineup you see, it has Paramatch plastered all over it. It's plastered all over the stadiums, which I actually think sometimes is more known to people in terms of looking and eyes contact all the time than the actual shirt sponsor. But no one moaned about that, and no one wants to even put any sort of moan at Roman Abramovich for it. No, I've literally had people who have said I don't blame Roman Abramovich for it. And like, how can you not? You're saying one thing for one owner and not something about another. It should be completely the same.
But it's not the main sponsor. It's not the face.
I don't get why it should matter whether it's the main sponsor or not. It's still a sponsor of the football club. You can't just be moral for your main sponsor and then the rest you can be as dodgy as anything.
Yeah, but until you mentioned it, I did not even know these men were betting companies. Honestly, I'm serious. I honestly did not know.
It does have the high when you see it on some of the stuff. It does say the home of betting.
Flipping now. Okay.
And then again, my problem is it's fine to go down this moral route. I'm happy to go down this moral route. That you need to be it's like the whole ownership thing. Roman last year, how you chucked out Roman, but you didn't chuck out all the other dodgy owners that are going around. You can't open Pandora's box and just take one thing out and open it. You've got alcohol sponsors. Alcohol is very it's another addiction. So why have we been allowed to have Singer beer as our sponsor for God knows how long? That's been a sponsor for years. I mean, I look at Singer and go, oh, it's Chelsea's beer sponsor because we've had it for so long. It's been associated with us. Again, food addiction, food and the biggest death of people is hearts. Well, it is, and this is coming from someone that has. When I've gone through depression, my addiction to turn to is food.
It's not the same.
But it is the same.
I agree. I go to it as well. I do go to it, but it's not as addicting as you think it is, like gambling.
But they are literally both addictions. It's just that different people are addicted to different things. But my point is, you can't say, "Oh, we'll take out one immoral thing, but not the others." And especially when you look, this is the point I made as well to someone. Most of our money comes from TV money, right? Which most of it of the UK rights, at least, come from Sky, which promote gambling firms. And again, all over TV, when you watch Sky Sports, all that gets plastered over is Sky Bet. So why do we accept that? Why is that fine?
We want that out, though. We want it out.
But that's never going to go out. Sky are never going to not promote it because they want to promote it. I get the idea of being moral, but unfortunately, if you're going to be moral about things, you're going to have to really look into everything, and you're not going to have much sponsorship left.
Okay, here's my say. Very quickly. Obviously, religion for me, we were the first Premier League team to host Ramadan, by the way. So to see us kind of put them... don't know if you heard that, someone shouting outside. But for a team to put this as a main sponsor, the biggest image that you're going to be seeing everyone wear, and for players that are against gambling as well, and the Chelsea Foundation's bringing awareness against gambling, just doesn't make sense. If you're going to go to this, then we need to get rid of this foundation. We shouldn't have Chelsea Foundation.
I mean, the Chelsea Foundation do more than just that.
Of course, but what I'm trying to say is there's no point pushing the foundation and trying to help people if we're going to promote it. Like, we either promote it or we don't. That's it.
Yeah, but there is a way of you can promote something, but at the same time still put the message out that actually it's not not the best thing.
What's the point of that?
And there is a thing of you. There are a lot of people that do gambling and are okay. I'm always someone that believes everything in moderation is okay. If you can drink alcohol in moderation and it won't harm you. You can eat bad food, junk food, whatever, in moderation and it won't hurt you. You can gamble in moderation. I know people that put cheeky bet every now and then. The only time I ever bet is on the Grand National. I don't bet outside of that. I always put cheeky fiver on just a horse. Usually I pick out the horse that just sounds the funniest and goes with that. Harmless. I think there needs to be that aspect of we need to support people who obviously are affected by gambling. And I think it's even more of it's actually a good thing that we go, yeah, we do have this sponsorship, but we are promoting safe gambling and working with that. Matt said we can not promote gambling. But my point is you can promote, and some of these companies are trying to promote safe gambling. There is that aspect of it needs to improve, but we need to. For me, I look at it and go, it's 1 year. In a year, there we are not. It's not like we've got a lot of choice. We have Allianz at half the price, which will affect us in terms of going into the market and affect future negotiations. But don't forget, we've got to remember this. We were supposed to get a different sponsor anyway in Paramount Plus. But obviously things have gone in the way of that because stupid other TV companies are getting a hissy fit for a reason I don't know. Paramount Plus are not in, as far as I'm aware, in TV rights. And I don't get what the whole conflict of interest with it is. That technicality has stopped us getting that. So it does give me that moral sense of, well, I don't think this was Bowley's first choice. I think really, if Allianz put in a bit more money, and if maybe Allianz said we only want 35 million, I reckon we probably would have snapped it. If it was a little bit less money, I think we'd take it. But where it's half the price, I think there's got to be you got to think that sport is a business, and we do. And when we're already chasing poor revenue at the moment because we haven't got a big enough stadium, we can't be chasing revenue in terms of we've got one of the worst sponsorship deals in the Premier League. I'd like us not to have stake if it's possible, in terms of actually financially possible, but unfortunately we do have it is something we're going to have to swallow. And I'd hope that I'd love it if there was a way of saying that Muslim players could wear something that is not, say you
just a plain kit,
either plain or even if you take if you put you take out the K and put in another letter, so it isn't actually doing the brand, but it's still as close as it can be, so it's not too much responsive. But obviously that is a problem of contract as well. I imagine they wouldn't be too happy with that. Or even say, for example, Muslim people or people with gambling addictions can potentially buy a kit without the sponsor, but obviously that would be a problem with sponsorships. But in maybe these sort of negotiations need to take place. Obviously it's a hard thing to negotiate, and the owners were under pressure. And what we've got to remember is the guy that was supposed to be doing the sponsorship was a naughty boy and got sacked, so they've had to bring in someone new. So it's not like this whole negotiation thing has been smooth sailing, which is again out of Bowley's control. Unfortunately, the guy who they brought in originally was a very naughty boy with certain things, and it's put them again in another situation that's just frustrating. But I hope that in the future that we will go with a good financial one, but hopefully a little bit less morale. But I think if we're just going to have to take this one, we're just going to have to take it on the chin, understand that there is issues around it, and still promote the idea that, of course, gamble safely if you do choose to gamble, or if you don't want to gamble, that's fine. Because it is something that you shouldn't be doing. You shouldn't be doing it unless you can control it, or if you are Muslim or of any other religion that doesn't allow gambling, again, practice your religion and just stay away from it. I understand it's hard with this, but it is what it is. I think it's a situation. I think sometimes I prefer it when we talk about football rather than talking about business outside of football, because I think it's something that 10, 15 years ago, I don't think if we had we had calls back in the 90s, I don't think anyone cared. I think if we had this sponsor 15, 20 years ago, I don't think there'd be much kick-off fuss about it, because we weren't so aware of the business aspect. But I think that's the problem. We've become so aware of every in and out at the football club that suddenly it's the fans' decision for everything, which it is what it is. With this debate, I just like a bit less hypocrisy. And I understand from your point, when I've asked you about it, but no, this is why I'm going to defend you. When I've questioned you on Paramatch Singer and all that, you've said, yeah, I don't agree with them either. So that's what I like to hear, because you're not so. There's no not.
I want the whole thing out. I want the whole thing out.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're not. There's no hypocrisy from you, but unfortunately, from other people, I've literally had other people on Twitter say, "No, Paramatch is fine. No, crypto companies are fine," and I'm just like, it hurts my brain a little bit. That they're the people I get pissed off with in this debate.
Well, folks, we had Johnny J. Bull Minerals talk for the last 10 minutes. Sorry to bore all of you beautiful people out there. Like the video and subscribe. I wanted to bring on a special guest today. He's had a difficult 72 hours. I'm glad he's had a safe flight, but I really wanted to bring him on because I wanted Matt to have a word with him today as well. But Feroz, can we hear from you?
How's it going, everyone? Yeah, like my 72 hours have gotten worse because I'm sick now.
Great.
Yeah, but what Matt said was spot on, though, regarding everything with
He's Muslim, by the way, fake Muslim. This guy.
Oh my days. No, but like what he said was spot on. Obviously, like this topic has been discussed a lot the past few days. But I'm sure the club will sort it out, because regarding backlash and stuff, Todd and even obviously Iqbali, they're no strangers to social media and backlash, so they understand everything that's going on. And whatever the club's best interest is, because
they must have seen it, right? They must have seen.
Yeah, no, I can confirm they've seen it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So like, but it's not like, oh, that's huge. It's obvious, like they have seen it. Because you know how it is with backlash and stuff regarding any club and any owner, people see stuff. And I think that they're gonna try their best to find other alternatives. But if obviously no one can match what Stake is offering, then for 1 year, if I'm not mistaken, it's gonna be 1 year thing.
Yeah,
it shouldn't be the worst. Obviously thing for me but I understand your take and I understand everyone else's take who don't support it one bit, because they are valid reasons.
I just realized why your haircut was ruined, by the way.
Why are we talking? I like how we were just talking
I just realized it's because you support gambling and you're meant to be a Muslim.
I didn't say I support gambling. I just said I got like.
Can we see your hair, please?
No, not, bro. Regardless of my hair, not right now. Like I'm just a mess. I don't even know if you can tell. Like my nose is clogged up and stuff.
Just the hair, bro. You don't need to show your face.
No.
Just
Not right now. Not right now.
We've got a valid replacement.
Yeah, let's see it. Hang on. Let me see it.
Oh my! You know what's crazy? That looks better than me. Like
it does. It actually does. I'll pull it up.
Sadiq, you know, like the thing you posted on Instagram went crazy, bro. Everyone was reacting to it.
Is it?
Yeah.
What was the weirdest ones or like responses that you got? Like summarize.
No, everyone's just like laughing, but like everyone saw that thing, bro. Because the more people react to it, the higher it goes up on the algorithm, right, on Instagram, like for IG
Yeah,
stories. Yeah.
yeah. There people saw it. There people saw it. Definitely.
Mhm. But I'm glad Matt is like joining you for these streams now. That's one thing I was worried about.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you're not available, Matt actually hollered me today saying, "Can we stream today?" So you know what?
Good idea.
I was like, because he's happy to stream for once. Hopefully, we hear from him more often.
Hmm.
It's been a tough few weeks for Mr. Matt. He's been busy with work, but I think it's going to be a big window for us. Hopefully, we can cover a lot more. Before I wrap up for us, let us know your thoughts on Mason Mount.
Obviously, yesterday, like I was more gutted with what came out, right? That he is not gonna sign a new deal, so that really hurt. But I mean, it's the least surprising thing that he's gonna stay, right? Having said that, obviously, I did say that 3 sides to a story. I want to stick by that, but that doesn't mean I'm like really upset at Mount, because he just like I'm not gonna say backstabbed everyone, but I just feel like he the way things have gone about it could have been handled better, but not just him, but the club as well, everyone involved. I feel like this should have been sorted a while back, but it's sad it's come to this, and it's just upsetting how this has happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's true. We should have definitely got a resolution way before,
Yep.
and not as messy as we can see it now.
I feel like maybe the club was naive in thinking, oh, he is proper Chelsea, and obviously his links with Portsmouth, and so that's a whole different discussion. But I feel like the club, and even myself, if last year, like and I feel like this goes for you too as well. If last year it came out of the news, oh, Mason Mount like discussing new deal, all of us would go like, okay, he's obviously going to sign the contract. Obviously, like there's no way we would have thought he would leave, especially go to a club like United. But it's just sad how like things have gone back and forth, and now this has happened, right? But
it's
I
going to
feel
be
like
so weird. It's going to be so weird.
it's
Seeing
gonna
him in
be
the red.
really weird. And then even Kai going as well. Obviously, Kai's attachment for like a lot of fans, it's not the same, even though he got us that winning goal. It's not the same because he's not like a Cobham boy and stuff, and that does matter. No matter what people say, like I see JT differently than I see like Ricardo Carvalho. For like, even if they would have played the same amount of time at Chelsea, I would have seen them differently. That's just how it is, right? I feel like it's sad, like our like poster boy. Obviously, people will say it's Ristu is like leaving, but hey, you know what? It's football, it's business, and that's just how it is in modern sport, right?
There we have it, folks. I just want to thank everyone for coming on. Yeah, it means a lot. We've done the stream a bit earlier today. I think Feroz might be able to attend a few more streams going forward now on his mobile. Hopefully, he gets a lot better and shows his head, because for me, that makes me smile every day. I actually look back at the videos from the other day where he showed his trim, and it cheers me up. Everyone knows about it now. My whole family, my friends, everyone knows about it. It's a special video. But yeah, Matt J. Ball, thank you for co-hosting today. I'm glad Colito came on at the start as well and gave his speech. It's 10-minute minerals type speech. We had Matt J. Ball talking for about 15 minutes on steak. That's not been well done. It's been undercooked. But it's been a pleasure seeing everyone on. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, hit the notification, tune every single day. There'll be a video or stream every single day between 3 p.m. to about 11 p.m. UK time on this channel. Search for it all the time or check out our socials. Matt J. Ball, thank you for tuning in. As I said, hopefully, when can we see you next, Matt?
Depends on when you stream. Obviously,
well, tomorrow won't be a stream because Collie has the barbecue.
Yeah,
so
I think the barbecue would be too late for me.
Barbecue's way too late for you.
That's the thing. I think when it gets super late, I think some days I do have to, unfortunately, go to bed because I think with my job I can't just have that lack of sleep and then treat someone medically. So I do have to get some sort of sleep. But if the streams are available time, I'll try and make myself available whenever. One more thing I did want to say, big up to Strasbourg, our new multi-club.
Oh yeah.
The fact that we've spent the Kai Havertz money on a whole new club is just brilliant business, brilliant investment. Well done, Todd
Do we
Bowley.
know how much the percentage is? Because initially it was a stake, and now they're saying close to 100.
Yeah, I think some people say. I think Ben Jacobs said it's
How
close
can
to
it be
100.
that cheap?
Because it's a club that's been rambled in problems and financial problems. So I think they needed a quick sell, cheap sell. And don't forget, these are small clubs, so they're not going to be that much money. It's a stadium that's being it is falling apart. It's not worth a lot of money. And they have had financial problems, so obviously it does go for cheaper. Big up to Steve, who obviously supports Newcastle and Strasbourg among a load of other teams. So Steve is officially our resident Strasbourg, but technically more Chelsea than anyone else. Basically, now he can just be a closet Chelsea fan since we're both sharing the same owner now.
Exactly.
Hopefully they can take Thatcher Fofana and a few other loan players. Maybe that can be where Christian Pulisic goes.
Or Lukaku.
We sell Lukaku there.
Lukaku, yeah. Big up for Rose, man. Hopefully we'll hear from you soon, my friend, and hopefully we can see that hair. Because it makes my day. It really cheers me up. But get well soon, for Rose, man.
Thank you.
Everyone else, take care. Like the video, one click, subscribe, and tune in daily, people. We're out. Peace. Big up. Oh yeah, let me big up everyone as well, man. Varley, Varna, Alfred, KJ, Irish, Chelsea Fanatic, Metal Gear Solid, Patrick Bateman, Chelsea Fanatic, Varley again, Blade. Who else we got? HM. Well, I mean, I didn't mean to put that comment up. Apologies. But
HM's like my buddy. He can't stop abusing me, so it's fine. It comes with being on the YouTube channel.
exactly. We got EE, Saranath, Super Jordan, even this guy who called us streamer mid-stream, even though he was here the whole time. I mean, it's a bit of a mad one. Big up Mel. Who else we got, people? I think we've covered Way Modes. I think we covered everything else. Yeah, we'll leave it there, people.
That
Big up to
Lucas
everyone
guy that joined for the first time, so big up to him.
Who?
Lucas Costa.
Oh,
Never seen
Lucas. Yeah. Well, guys, catch you lot soon. We're out, man. Peace.